Finally, we have rain. I'm very, very happy about this. Hello guys, and welcome to Brimwood Farm. So today we are talking electric fencing, and I'm not telling you this from a point of view of I am a pro and here's my stuff. The other end of the extreme, I really don't know what I'm doing, so I thought I would show you my setup and kind of talk through the components, because when it comes to tech, I really don't have a clue in it, and I don't know why, but I couldn't get my brain around electric fencing at all. And I thought there might be some more of you out there that also just, you can work out an animal instantly, but when it comes to tech, it's like, what? I don't get it. So I'm going to look at my system, show you what I bought, show you the components that are required, and we'll just go through it. Well, as I mentioned, when it comes to tech, I am a complete and utter duffer, and I can be shown a setup and shown how to maintain it if it's in situ and I can get it. But trying to work something out for myself, I have no clue. And when it came to electric fencing, I just couldn't wrap my head around all the weird components, and I don't know why, I just couldn't get it. And the problem is, I need a hell of a lot of electric fencing here. My granddad, and I've said this before, he relied heavily on traditional laid hedges. Now the hedges here have not been laid for about half a century, which means they are now like 5-6 meters wide, full of black form, full of holes. They're never going to keep anything in. So I need electric fencing for the poultry, which I've got just behind me here. I need electric fencing for the sheep. I need electric fencing for the market garden to keep all the little critters out, because yes, it's wonderful to be running a conservation wildlife rich patch, but also I need to keep those bunnies and those deers off my veggies. Most of the stuff I use here is the electric netting, so that's what we're going to go through first. So this is what I've discovered. You need 3 main components for any electric setting, and I'm sorry if I'm telling some of you how to suck eggs, but I just couldn't get this. So you need your fencing, obviously, you need something to power your fencing, and then you need a converter to convert the power source onto the fencing, and that's your energizer. So I'm just going to take you around here, and so this is your battery, and then your battery is connected. You can see there is the red and the black leads. The battery is connected to your energizer, and my energizer isn't running at full capacity at the moment because it's been raining, and then so your energizer takes on your electricity, and then your energizer feeds the electricity through this red cable into the fencing. And then you've also, from your energizer, you've also got a ground lead that runs out here, so your electricity is grounded as well. So they are the 3 main things that one requires: a battery, an energizer, and your actual fencing. So as you might be able to tell from some of the labelling, my kit was from Voss. They're a German company. They have starter kits, which was really, really helpful. But even within the starter kit, I got a little bit confused. I ended up buying the wrong battery, because this is a 12-volt energizer, so I needed a 12-volt battery. But I bought a 9-volt battery, which said it was capable of running on 12-volt energizers. But that's the wrong way round. I needed a 12-volt that could run. So I ended up sending that battery back, and I got the new Varta battery, which is a leisure battery. Now I'm not going to lie, these systems aren't inexpensive. I think the starter kit with this electric, so I've got 50 meters electric netting, I've got the energizer, I've got the grounding rods, and it comes with obviously all the cables and things. I think it was about 375. You also then need a charger so that you can take your battery home and charge it. That again, I got a decent one, so that was another £60-70. And then my battery, the second attempt at the battery, That battery was actually £130. It wasn't cheap. It's a leisure battery. It's supposed to run for a long time. So there's probably cheaper ways of doing it. So all in all, this setup probably cost near £500, which, having never bought an electric fence system before, I don't really know whether that's expensive or inexpensive. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with what I've got, and I'm working out the kinks. So one of the kinks is grass. And now obviously we are running this system on pasture, but you might have noticed that Energizer was flashing to orange, and it normally goes all the way up to green when charge is fully all the way around. And I said it was because it was raining. And that is partly true, because obviously water conducts electricity away. But one of the reasons the grass is the problem is it rains, the grass gets wet, and then the electricity obviously saps out of the fence onto the grass. Now really, in an ideal system, if you had a static system, you would go the whole way around this fencing and you would trim all the grass at the bottom, so this bottom layer of fencing lays directly on the soil. And that's perfect in a non-static system where you can go around regularly and just trim. The problem I have here is I've got all of this pasture grass, and it's quite long, and I am moving them every fortnight. So it's difficult to get this to lay right on the floor without then trimming half the pasture away, which is the very point of moving them around. At the moment, I'm finding when it isn't raining, when it's a nice clear day, it does drop at night, so it goes down to the orange charge, which just means there isn't as much voltage flowing through the fence. But at that point, they're shut away in the shed. So I don't have to worry too much about foxes. And then by the time the sun comes up, the sun dries off the dew, and then I get a much higher voltage running around. As we head into winter and we get more rain and snow and damper days, I'm probably going to get to the point where when I move the fencing every fortnight, I'm going to have to trim around the bottom of the fence. Now, so this isn't so bad here, but if we move down here, you can really see how much grass is in the way and how much that's wicking away the electric charge. The other good thing is, actually, once the system's been used a couple of times and they've gone the entire way around the shed, because of course they're starting in patches, but they're going to move to the shed. Oh, it's over here. And they're going to go the whole way around the back and then back round to this bit. Obviously that grass is then going to be shorter anyway, because it's going to have been on a rotation. So that might be easier, but I'm definitely going to have to do some trimming in the intermediary time. Another little tip, if you can afford it, is to buy the gate, because this system doesn't currently, I couldn't afford the gate to put in. So this is a netting system that goes all the way around, and so obviously I have to climb over it, which is not too bad, but if you're a little bit shorter in stature than me, it would be quite difficult. Sard has gone head over several times trying to get over it, and obviously you then also have to turn the electricity off as you climb in and out, so you've got to remember to put it back on. So definitely, if you can afford to get a gate, and also get more tensioning rods. So the kit comes with a couple of tensioning rods, and they're here, and they're used on the corners just to make sure, just like guy ropes on a tent, just to make sure you can try and get those rods to stand upright, because you don't want the slack in the netting. Because again, that's another reason why then it sort of slacks onto the ground and wicks the electricity away. And another problem that I've got, because this is a meadow, it's a hill meadow as well at that, so it's not flat. So you can see there's quite a few, this one in particular you can see is leaning over. So I would suggest a couple of packs of tensioning rods and things as well to help keep the netting up. By the way, I will put all of this information below, so you can go to the website and you can see the Voss equipment and see for yourself whether it might work for you. But as I said, all in all, apart from those kinks, so kind of the grass kink, the gate, maybe keeping the netting upright, I'm finding it a pretty good system. I haven't seen a fox come for it yet, but both the dogs have run into it in the daytime and literally headed in the other direction almost immediately because of the zap they got. So it works on dogs, so I'm hoping that it works on foxes too. Of course, there's not just electric netting, there's the strands as well. Now, I personally have never used the strands. Even in my old job, when we moved the sheep around, we used electric netting, and I found that actually, although sheep can get tangled up in it, I find that they don't, because they very quickly become accustomed to the fact that it's electrified and they stay away. Strand wire is a bit more difficult. I am intrigued to try and use strand electric netting with pigs. I've seen several videos online where they just use a couple, and they do one in particular at the pig's nose height, and as soon as those pigs are accustomed to getting zapped in the nose, they don't go near it. So I think that would probably be better, but certainly for the chickens the netting is perfect. For the market garden I will need netting like this to keep rabbits out, and I'm going to use netting for the sheep because that's what I'm used to. But certainly, of course, there is strand wire as well, and strand wire you can run on a further distance, you can run on a cheaper battery and energizer too. But as I say, I'm going to be using the netting for now because that's what I've started with and that's what I've come to kind of love. So I've retreated inside because it's hammering down outside and there's just been a clap of thunder, but hopefully that means we are filling up those water butts ready for use. The other thing is, it is getting dark. You can see it's dark outside already, so winter is coming, which is both scary and exciting because it means that although the year has disappeared fast, it means that spring is going to come and then we can start this proper market garden. I hope this video has been a little bit of help to those of you that are like me and are slightly technophobes and are thinking about electric systems and how they're going to work and what you need to buy. If you've got any comments, please put them below, or suggestions or tips, because as I say, I am a novice, an amateur, I don't really know what I'm doing, so any advice would be very, very grateful. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing. If you're on Facebook, please come across and join us at Brimwood Farm's community group. But for now, take care and I will see you soon. Bye bye.